Hello everyone, Power Query Basic. Today we talk about split column. You can find the split column under the Home tab here or the Transform tab here. Actually, they are the same. When we open the pull-down menu of split column, we can see that there are 7 options for splitting columns. And I will show you one by one with some simple example today. Let's start with the first one, by delimiter. First of all, we have to select the column we want to split. In our example, to make it simple, we have only one column, but in real life, you should have more than one column. So remember, the first thing is to select the column you want to split, and then go to the Transform tab, Split Column. In this example, I want to split by delimiter, and the delimiter here in my example is the underscores. So I click into. In the dialog box opened, we can have a choice of selecting from the pull-down menu for those common delimiters. In our example, I need a custom delimiter, which is underscores. Indeed, if I check this board, split using special characters, we have options of selecting some special characters. For example, the tab. Tab is something like this. But pay attention to this, because I have input the underscore before. If I don't want that, I have to clear that. Let me remove this. Let me show you one more, live feed. So this is the code for live feed. Let's go back to our example. I want to split by the delimiter underscores. And then I need to select where I want to split. I want to split at the leftmost, rightmost, or the 8th occurrence. It is very straightforward. So let me show you the result directly. Okay. This is the step for splitting the column. Normally, you will also see this change type step automatically created. If you don't want it, we can go to the file here, options and settings, query options, and then under the current workbook, data load, detect column types and headers for unstructured sources. You may also do so under the global setting. Never detect column types and headers for unstructured sources. It depends on your preference. When you get along with the Power Query, you may want to check this box because you want full control of your data type rather than the automatically detection. So let me just keep it as it is. I just applied the setting of the current workbook. I uncheck this box. Okay. So now let me show you the other options. I'm going to remove the steps. The other option of the split by delimiter at rightmost. That is the result. Very straightforward. But normally when we split columns by delimiter, the default setting is by each occurrence of the delimiter. It makes sense. So let's see what is the result. We have 3 columns as the result. Now I want to draw your attention to the advanced option by delimiter. Advanced options. By default, it will be split into columns, but we can indeed instruct Power Query to split the result into rows. And this will be the result. Instead of having multiple columns, we will have only one column, but the result is split into rows instead of columns. So how about the other options? Let me show you again by delimiter. Under the advanced options, if we choose to split into columns, actually Power Query will automatically create this for you. The number of columns to split into. It detects that the maximum numbers will be 3 in order to split all the delimiters. In some cases, you may want to control this. You can't. For example, I just care about the first delimiter. And then when I select number of columns to split into to 2, this will be the result. We have only the 2 columns. Everything afterwards is ignored. We can also split the column by the number of characters. This is also very straightforward. Select the column, transformed, split column by number of characters. Then we just need to input the number of characters, for example, 3. And we need to decide whether we want to split it once as far left as possible, once as far right as possible, or repeatedly. We also have the advanced option of splitting into columns or rows. Let's do it the basic one. As far left as possible. This will be the result. Let me remove the step. Do it again. Number of characters, 3, and this time as far right as possible. There we go. Let's do it repeatedly. Number of characters, repeatedly. Indeed, this is the default setting. Number of characters, 3. So we may expect 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 columns. Because the column of data, the maximum length is 12. So it will split into 4 columns. If we select number of characters, and then this time I also input 3. Pay attention to this area. When I input the number 3 here, PowerQuery will calculate that based on the sample data here, the number of columns to split into, similar to the previous case. But again, we can select how many columns we want to split into. Say I just want to split into 2. We can have a choice here. Okay, then we will see only the first 6 characters in this scenario. Let's try the split column by positions this time. In this scenario, we have only one parameter basically. It's the number of positions that we want to split. Did you see that when I click somewhere here? We can see a list of number here. And pay attention, this is by positions. That means we can specify more than one positions. And normally it will start with 0. Okay, let's do it by example. Let me input some random number 0, 3, comma, separated by comma, 5, 6. So what does it mean? It means in the position of 0, that is the starting point here. This is my first position to split. Then the third position is here, the fifth position, and the sixth position. So by having the divider being put in place, it is obvious that the result will be something like this. If I want to ignore certain number of positions at the beginning, actually I can do it by need to tricks. Do not start with the 0 positions. Start with where we want to start with. For example, 3. As a result, this column will be gone. Let's have a look. There we go. Let's also explore what advanced option we have. Similarly, we can split into columns or rows. How about if I input just one number in the position? Actually, this is a very nice trick to extract all the characters after the third position. We will have something like this as a result. All the letters starting from the third position. This is a very powerful option for splitting camel case. Let's go for it. Select the column, split column by lowercase to uppercase. And if we look at the description here, please. Okay, hello. It split values based on the transition from a lowercase to uppercase. That is the perfect choice for splitting camel case. Let's see. As simple as that, that is super powerful. Also, we can split by the transition from the uppercase to lowercase. For example, I'm just making it up. We have some last name all appear in uppercase, and the first name all appear in lowercase. Then select this column, split column by uppercase to lowercase. What kind of magic it is? Afterward, we can of course make this column as an uppercase, or you can make it capitalized, which is the proper case. Cool. So some real magic happens here. What if we want to split by digit to long digit? That is also a common task. So I select the column here, split column by digit to long digit. Wow! We can see that it worked like a charm, except the situation we have the decimal point or 1000 delimiter. But no worry, there is a little trick in the formula that can resolve this. So let's have a look at the formula. Don't be scared. We just need to understand where to adjust. So the function doing the split is this one. If we hover the mouse here, we can see the description of the options. The first parameter is before, the second parameter is after. That means what we want to split. So before is from 0 to 9, that is all the digits. And then the second parameter is log digit. In this case, we want to include comma and the dot as part of the list not included. So what we need to do is just add the comma here and also add the dot here. Click. There we go. And because we expect only 2 columns, we no longer require the third columns, which is automatically detected by Power Query before. So I just need to remove the final columns. Basically, this final parameter are the column names for the split the columns. So now ready to check this box. It worked like a magic, isn't it? Here come the final options by long digit to digit. A typical scenario will be splitting the currency label from the amount, something like this. Go to the transform, split columns by long digit to digit. Wow! When there is no decimal place or no thousand separator, it worked perfectly. However, for those values, let's have a look. The original values come with the thousand separator and the decimal. And this one, we have the thousand separator. So the default options will also split it. Again, we can do it by adjusting the formula, but this time we have to adjust it a little bit differently. We need to adjust as the first parameter. We want to include comma and the dot in the first parameter here. So what we need to do is just to add the comma and the dot as part of the list not included. That means long digit, but also long comma and long dot. Let's take a look. There we go. We can split the currency label here with the number here. And what we need to do is to get rid of the extra columns that was created before. Just select the last two columns named, delete it. Oops, don't delete the curly basket at the end. It's a true method. Yeah, of course, we can rename the columns. Okay, this is the amount, and then this is the currency label. Oops, currency. And then we can even change this to decimal number. As you see from all the previous examples, the split column is simply awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.